Happy New Year! 2025 is over, it's time to close the books, and I'm happy to report that I managed to make a full-time living in music in 2025, and this is how I made it. Hello, my name is Adam Hesselbom. I am a composer and a musician. I'm based in Malmö, Sweden. And on this channel I talk about my music, my life in music and music business. So if this is of interest to you, then consider subscribing because I post a new video every week. So today we're going to talk about money and specifically how I made money in 2025 and how I was able to support myself only making money from music. I'm not going to talk about exact numbers in this video, and this is for a couple of reasons. First of all, my prices are negotiated between me and my clients, and that information is only for me and my clients. Secondly, some jobs are worth taking despite there being low pay or no pay, so bear that in mind. But the biggest reason for me not to go into exact numbers is that money is not like universal. And money means different things for different people and specifically in different places. So if you have $100 and you go into a grocery store in Sweden, what you can buy for those money is very different from what you could buy with $100 in a store in the United States or in Argentina or in Thailand. So money is, depending on where you live, money is worth, different things. What you can buy with the money is the important thing, not the money itself. So to steer away from any confusion about what money can buy, I think it's better to, leave the numbers out of it. Also, I live in Sweden, and as you may know, we have universal healthcare. So that means that I don't have to take my own money to pay for health insurance. It's already covered by the taxes. I did, however, pay myself a salary every month this year, and I managed to stay pretty consistent, paying myself roughly the same salary every month. Some months I had more money to pay, but I didn't. And some months I had less money, and then I had some to spare to, stay consistent. Staying consistent with your salary, I think, is good for when you talk to banks or to the IRS or stuff like that. But my salary is, for just some comparison, I make more than a cleaner. I make less than a teacher or a police officer. I make roughly the same as someone who works in a grocery store or, at a home appliance store. But my company also did a surplus, so there is a profit, and that profit, and the profit is what is left after you paid all the bills, all the salary to myself. And that profit is, paid out to the shareholders, and the shareholders in my company is myself and my wife. And if you work in a home appliance store, you would not get part of the, company surplus. So that's a big bonus for me. Also, Sweden has no minimum wage because our labor market is not constructed that way. However, the musicians union, they have sort of a guide mark that is the minimum amount a musician should be paid each month. And my salary is a little bit above that, so that's also positive. Of course, there is a bigger discussion. Should I make more money? Should I make less money? There is an attitude that musicians, since they do what they love, they should not get paid, which I think is complete and utter crap. It's ridiculous. I have a skill that I provide, that I sell, and it's a premium service, and I think you should pay a premium price. I mean, it's as simple as that. I think my prices are at a good level, and the thing is that I'm not booked enough to be working build hours all the time. So considering that, I think I did very well last year. I think it was a financially successful year for me, and career-wise also a very good year. So I'm very happy with the results of 2025. And this is what I made my money from. Well, the absolutely biggest chunk of my income comes from playing the organ. I play the pipe organ, and I play in churches that need an organist. So I'm completely freelance. Last year I played roughly 60 funeral services and a lot of baptisms and weddings. Out of 52 weekends that year, I think I was booked 30 plus weekends. So I was booked a lot. And this is what, I think it's, more than 90% of my income comes from this. Then I was also paid for teaching. I had both organ pupils and Logic Pro students. So I was also teaching Logic Pro and music production. I did some paid composition jobs. I did work on a couple of things that did not get completed in 2025. So that means that I will not get paid until I deliver the actual music. So there's, that's also something to consider. I was working on a paid job, but the payment comes when the job is done. I also did some arrangement and orchestration work. I worked with an orchestra here in Malmö, a semi-professional orchestra, providing them with some orchestral arrangements. I did some brass arrangements, so I do those kinds of jobs too. Then I did some, miscellaneous stuff. I worked as a consultant on score recording, using my skills of different rooms to set up a recording in a certain space. I did some engraving work from, handwritten scores, putting them into Dorico and making a good layout and everything. So that's where I made my money last year. I also did have some income streams that paid me zero, and I'm going to discuss those too. First of all, it's, this place, YouTube. YouTube did not pay me any money. And I mean, that's fair because I'm trying to, build up the channel. It's still pretty new. So, nothing strange there. I did have, companies contacting me for, NFRs, which means that I will get, maybe get some licenses for products. If that happens, I will be very transparent about that, of course. But of course, in the long run, I would maybe hope to make a little bit of money from YouTube. And I think that's perfectly possible, and that's a goal of mine. I also did not make any money from score sales. I have an online shop for Swedish choral music that I composed, and I'm selling like PDF scores. And I put a lot of work into setting up that shop, and I haven't made any sales. And I underestimated how hard it would be to market it. So I'm trying to build like a better marketing strategy. I don't want to be one of those people like spamming different Facebook groups with my scores and my offers. But at the same time, I need to get the message out there that there are music available. I think the music is of good quality, and I think it fills a gap in the overall like market for Swedish choral music. But I have to put in a little bit more work into the marketing, and I'm still learning. But I hope to make some sales and to have that as like a little bit of supplementary income. I also didn't make any money from royalties, and I think this is the biggest bummer because that means that my music wasn't performed or heard enough to render any royalty payments. There is, of course, the off chance that performances were not reported correctly and that my music was played without me getting royalty. That is perfectly possible because I think my music is, it's out there at some places, at least online. Of course, I have my music on streaming. Streaming doesn't pay anything, in case you didn't know. Yeah, so there could be some different reasons for this, but, bottom line, my music wasn't heard enough. I want to change that. I want my music to be heard. royalty payments is not, you need to have a lot of music out there for royalty payments to actually mean something. But it's it's the symbolism of it. No royalty payments for performances. Kind of sucks. So that's every way I made money and every way I didn't make money. So what are my goals for 2026? Well, I hope to book more composition gigs, of course, scoring work, particularly paid scoring work would be great. So I will work hard to make that happen. It's a long journey, but I hope you will follow me along for the ride. I would also like to get to 1,000 subscribers here on YouTube. 1,000 subscribers means that you will get monetized, and Google AdSense money, it's not like winning the lottery, it's quite modest, but it's the milestone. You become part of the partner program, and if you are open to doing any like sponsorships or brand content, I think having 1,000 and being in the partner program is a good start to have any hopes of making collaboration. I am very open to doing that. If I am to have this, weekly upload and being a regular here on YouTube, I think I eventually would need to have some direct or indirect income from it. And an indirect income could be a filmmaker finding me here on YouTube talking about film music and wanting to work with me. So fingers crossed that that could happen too. If you are a filmmaker, my contacts are also in the description. Then, of course, I would like to make some score sales. I worked so hard to set it up. It would be so fun to actually sell some scores and have my music performed in Swedish churches. I would love for that to happen too. Well, all in all, I am very happy with 2025. It took me to places I did not expect. I achieved stuff I maybe could only dream of. I think it was a solid year financially, and I was able to pay myself a consistent salary and make a little bit of profit. I'm very excited for the new year. There are a lot of things happening that I know about, but there is also certainly a lot of things happening that I don't yet know about, and I'm very excited for those things too. So thank you for watching. If you thought this was interesting, consider subscribing. If you want to support me, then that is the best way. Also, please like this video so more people can find it. And I will see you on the next one. Cheers.